Hello, my name is Rachel. My sleep number is 78. 78 days I spent on a sleep number bed. From the day it was delivered, the air chamber was defective and sleep number wouldn't stand behind them. They made me wait 2 weeks, and then they changed it to 30 days. When we started complaining, they finally sent a Band-Aid out to fix it in the form of some foam. When the service man finally came out, he found a wet spot and said that there had been a leaking air chamber, which would justify how I felt like I was bottomed out, like sleeping in a trench every day from day one. The company wouldn't stand behind it. The store manager and the sales person after that, their whole attitudes towards us changed. When we wanted to return the bed, you're forced to pay a $300 restocking fee on the base, even though the bed itself was defective. They literally came to the house and picked it up and threw it in the back of their truck. They weren't going to restock it anywhere. They're just charging you. I had a man named Brian Barker call me he said Sleep Number CEO told me that they, in a sense, didn't stand behind their product because I changed my mind about it, even though it was defective from day one.
We were out just one day and decided to stop in the store. We're from Springfield, Missouri. So we went in the store and they did their whole presentation and all that stuff. And so, I mean, we ultimately obviously purchased one. It was the P5 model. We also purchased the adjustable base, head and foot thing, not massage or any of that. But so, signed the papers, went home, scheduled a delivery date. Everything was going well at that point. I was out of town when they delivered it, but they delivered it on time, showed up, set it up, everything. So Rachel sleeps on it that night, and of course I'm out of town, so I'm anxious to see what she thought. So I text her the next morning, how's it going? She was just kind of like, well, just kind of okay, Well, they'd already told us that, we're going to have to adjust to it and all this type of thing, blah, blah, blah. So we just kind of I just kind of blew it off. But so I finally come home and she'd been sleeping on a few days and she still wasn't liking it. I slept on. I thought it was horrible from day one. She did too,
By the time morning got there, my side had bottomed out like sleeping in a trench. It was like in a hammock every day. And it was delivered on the 28th, and by November 1st, I was in there asking about it. And that's when they said you had to give it 2 weeks. So I lived 2 miles from there. I laid down on theirs, and then I went home and tried to recreate that at home, and I couldn't do it. At 2 weeks, they said they changed and said you had to have the bed for 30 days before you could make any kind of an assumption about whether or not you liked it. And I was in there several times, at least once a week, trying to recreate how it felt in the store to the one that I had at home. So then at 30 days, I had him call customer service because the local store wouldn't do anything to help us. It slept very hot. My side, like I said, bellowed out like I was in a hammock. And that's how I described it to them at the store. And all I got was wait 2 weeks. Then I had to wait until 30 days.
So I called customer service, whatever they call themselves, and they said, described what it was. I described it as like sleeping on a glorified air mattress, like you would camp on, So that's how I described it kind of to the guy on the phone. He says, oh, so you probably needed a little more plush. I go, yeah, I guess, because it was hard and it was just uncomfortable. Anyways, so they ordered free of charge, but they ordered, they called it a mattress topper, and I don't remember what a foam piece that went underneath it. I don't remember what they called it. But anyways, okay, fine.
So it would be there in a matter of days.
Yeah, in a few days it'd be here. And then we would schedule for someone to come put it in. So I call them back up, and Oh, well, it's been back ordered. Okay. It's been back ordered because of the floods in Texas. I'm like, wow, that's pretty interesting. And I was thinking to myself, the floods were like in August, and this is November. So, but anyways, so she said, well, they're back ordered till the end of sometime the end of December. I don't remember the exact date. She said, well, you got to be kidding me. Uh, we're, you know, we're 30 days from the time we called, 60 days from the time now, 30 days, you know, to get it this thing fixed. Well, they ended up coming about the middle of December. Okay, so we call and schedule their technicians to come out and fix it. And
Verbally.
yeah, originally it was on December 26th. They were to come
That's the only verbal one they
fix
made.
it. Then they send an email saying it's going to be the 27th, and then a few seconds later, the 30th, which was the 27th was the original one, right?
That's the first one that came in.
Yeah, that's the one we could do. But anyways, so I said 27th comes, and we hear no. They're supposed to send you a text message telling you times and all that type of thing whenever.
We meant the 26th.
Or the 26th, whatever day it was. But anyways, telling you a time frame when they're going to be there. Well, it comes and goes, and we never hear anything. So I call them. They say, well, it's not scheduled to the 30th. Wait a minute. It was scheduled for the 26th. Well, we can't do it the 26th. It's going to be to the 30th. I said, well, no one's going to be here for the 30th. We can't do it on the 30th. So then it turns out now it's January 6th that they can come out.
When we called to try and get something in between there, because these pieces sat at our house for a long time, I was told on 2 separate occasions that I couldn't complain about the bed not being fixed unless I was willing to fix it myself. Twice. By 2 different customer service people, they said, you can't complain about how long it's taken. You can't complain about anything unless you're willing to fix the bed yourself. I said, well, you promised me verbally on the phone the 26th, and now I have to wait until the 6th. And I don't think that I should have to fix a $4,000 bed myself.
The technicians show up, unzip it, take out the thing.
Take off the
top.
The mattress cover, the mattress pad, the 2.5 inches of foam, and then
the mattress foam, whatever they call that. And then, so I'm sitting there looking at it, and I see this stain on the air chamber, on her side air chamber. So I go over there, it's wet. I go, what is this? The technicians, they go, man, I have no idea. I've never seen that in my life, and all this and everything.
That one guy said, but when the younger tech, as soon as he seen it, he said, you have a leaking air chamber.
Yeah.
And he excused himself and made a phone call. Now, I described it to the store, the local store, from day 3 until leading up to day 70, that my side bellowed out every night, and no one offered to help me until day 70, when I was, and I apologize, but I was in tears after that because I'm sleeping on this wet spot and nobody will listen to me until I say in front of the tech when he comes back that I'm ready for them to take the bed, that I'm done. I have an autoimmune disease, and I don't care how many antimicrobial things you spray on there, eventually it's going to mold. And then the store manager was very rude to us, and all of a sudden she had an air chamber that she could bring in and change it out. But from day 30 to day 70, no matter what I said, they wouldn't help me at all. I had to wait for these 2 pieces of foam or fix it myself. So we start the process of sending the bed back, and the store manager completely changed her attitude. She accused me of unzipping my bed and pouring water in there 3 times. She would say, oh, you didn't unzip it and spill water in there, did you? But she said it 3 times. And the same person that kept telling me, well, of course this bed at the store doesn't feel like yours at home because you have the wrong foam in there. Well, then when we wanted to send the bed back, she said, well, of course it doesn't feel like yours. Yours is a queen and this is a king. Even though the other salespeople told her, she comes in and she lays down on the queen size P5. This woman completely changed her demeanor and started just degrading me and B&E to me, it was completely different. And the whole process of sending back this bed was like you had to defend yourself. Not that they stood behind their product and now knew that they had a defective air chamber in there. No, it was all my fault. And
Finally, they agreed to take the base back.
at a cost to us of $300.
They charged us
restocking
a $300 restocking fee. At the time, we were like, thought we had a small victory, so we didn't even think about it at the time. But now that we think about it, we're going to try to go after them for the $300. But that's beside the point for right now. Anyway, so she writes this post on one of their review Facebook pages,
stating that from the first day, it was never like it was supposed to be. And I get a call from a man named Brian Baker, who claims he's a CEO of Sleep Number, which Jeff looked him up on LinkedIn, and he's a digital advocacy team lead, not a CEO. But on the phone, he tells me he's a Sleep Number CEO, that he is the end of the line. What he says goes. There's never going to be anybody else that's going to take the time to talk to me. He says he verbally has us over the phone accepting the $300 fee to take back the bed. And I said, can you listen to me for 1 minute? He said, if you and your wife buy a stove and you get it home, and the first time you go to use the oven, it doesn't work. And they say, well, we'll take it back, but you owe us $300. I said, that doesn't seem fair to you, does it? Well, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, wait a minute. I said, I can understand it if I change my mind about the bed. If you get it in there and your wife doesn't like the way that it looks and she wants to send it back, yes, the $300. I said, but from the first day, I never had a bed that was as the one in the store model. I said, I don't think that I should have to pay the $300 to restock this base when it was never right from the beginning. And he just kept saying that he was the CEO, he was the top of the list, there wasn't anybody else going to take the time, and he told me that I had changed my mind about the bed. I've worked in customer service. I feel like they should have done something, you know. I don't want to go out and badmouth somebody unless they're not willing. I mean, this man that called me and lied to me, I wouldn't stand by, you know, I wouldn't do that. And I'm pretty sure that Jeff is probably right that they wouldn't ever do anything.